The Rugby Championship is up and running. Our 4 months of solid rugby up until the end of the World Cup is also up and running. And I've just immediately finished watching South Africa versus Australia from Pretoria. And this is your spoiler alert. If you don't know the result, then you're going to get it in 3, 2, 1. And congratulations to South Africa. And I think if you had to kind of sum up this 80 minutes in one image, it would be the image of that girl who popped up on the screen. That was actually when South Africa were disallowed one of their tries. But that will be the face of a lot of Australians when South Africa were putting in relentless amounts of tries. South Africa got the first and last try. So they went 5-0 up with an incredible try from Marika Korombete. Fairly simple hands, just exploiting the space. And after that, Australia just got monstered. Absolutely monstered. And it was a brilliant combination for South Africa of brute power up front. I mean, Australia just got bullied, even with Will Skelton in their team and a kind of bigger pack than Australia. In fact, I think Australia, man for man, were heavier than South Africa. I think they had a kilo a man on South Africa, but you wouldn't know it watching that game. So what do I take away from this? South Africa are very good at rugby. That's one of the big takeaways. And I was thinking about this during the game. I wasn't surprised that South Africa won. I was surprised by the margin of victory, particularly when you consider all the players that are already in New Zealand who would come in and be first choice. But I think it's important to remember that South Africa should have probably beaten France in Paris, and had they not been playing a man down for half the game, they probably would have won. And against Ireland, the world's number one team, they probably should have won as well. They missed a load of kicks in that match against Ireland. So they are very, very good. And we knew this already, but this just confirmed it, because even without some key players, they were absolutely dominant. And what was weird was, and I don't know what you felt about this, but please do leave your comments, by the way. Get stuck in the comments. What did you make of the game? What were the big takeaways? What were the big headlines that come out of this game? What did you learn following the game that you didn't know before the game? What questions have been answered? One of the things that was odd was the way that the two teams played. And I think it shows an evolution in South Africa. Does it show a regression in Australia? Because what I saw was one team playing ball and one team kicking. And if you'd had to have guessed which team would be which, in years gone by, you would have had it the other way around. But it was South Africa playing the rugby and it was Australia kicking, and they didn't kick very well. And I think with the amount that Australia were kicking, I think it's a big part of the reason why Willie le Roux had a great game at the back there. He's excellent in those tactical exchanges. Some people would prefer Damian Willemse because he's got all the skills and all the ability. But I just think when it comes to World Cup time, never underestimate Willie le Roux. He comes stepping in as that second receiver, stepping in at scrum half sometimes. He's just a very intelligent rugby player, and we saw that today. And I think in terms of players for South Africa that could play themselves into a World Cup spot on the back of that performance, Marco van Staden did everything he could. He was absolutely brilliant. And Duane Vermeulen was awesome. Didn't he look about 10 years younger? It was like, this is the Duane Vermeulen I remember. He had a new lease of life. It was great to see. Scary for the rest of the world, but it was great to see. So those two players, I think, could have played themselves into a World Cup squad spot in what is an incredibly competitive area in the South African back row. But of course, I can't go any longer without talking about Kurt Leorense, who was an absolute freak. The footwork and the gas on this guy is just ridiculous, and a hat-trick today. I mean, some of them were just finishing off moves, but that's the knack of a great winger, finishing when you have the opportunities, and just doing the simple things really well. But he just showed real class with his finishing, absolute gas. And was it that Australia were dropping off tackles and being poor in defence, or was it that South Africa were just being really good? Weirdly, they got hammered. I don't think Australia would awful. I think there were some individuals that didn't play well. Quade Cooper was just basically anonymous. But then that's what you're going to get if you play Quade Cooper and then say we're going to kick it all day. Vunivalu, not a good game. Alan Alalatoa, 7A, he did not have a good game. He had his pants pulled down by Stephen Kitsap. So they've got food for thought there. But they will be better. And I guess maybe this is just, this is Eddie Jones doing what he was doing with England. He's just continuing with Australia. Eddie Jones kept saying he's going to win the World Cup with England. And England were rubbish in recent months. He's just continuing that tactic. He's saving it all for the World Cup. Australian fans, don't worry. He's saving it all for the World Cup. I've got to say, it's a lot more fun watching an Eddie Jones team when you're neutral than when he's coaching your team. I can say that much. But, yeah, like I say, it started so well for Australia. Corabetti, they were putting it around. But then, well, they just kept kicking the ball away, and that enabled South Africa to basically make wallaby biltong out of the South Africans. They got absolutely pumped, and the fact that there's 2 penalty tries, I think, demonstrates that as well. Particularly for the driving maul one, it was just they just got pumped. So there were yellow cards for Australia, and 17-5 at half time, and it looked like Australia was still in touch. But I couldn't come away from that game and go, oh, right, yeah, that's how Australia are going to play. Because, it was a bit tactically naive, I felt. Whereas I've got to say, South Africa really impressed me. I think, though, when it comes to a World Cup, tell me what you think. I reckon when it comes to a World Cup, we'll see much more of the kicking game from South Africa. When it gets to World Cup quarter-final, semi-final, those games against Scotland and Ireland, it's not going to be wanging the ball wide to Kurtley Arenza. They're going to have to earn the right to go wide. But, hey, really enjoyed that performance. And, well, what else can I talk about before we depart this game? Oh, I've got to talk about the DJ in the stadium. I mean, fair enough, they sold out Loftus Versfeld. The atmosphere looked absolutely brilliant. Did you not think the DJ overplayed his hand a little bit? It basically sounded like he turned up at the stadium and went, oh, I've forgotten all my CDs. Oh, here you go. Here's a mixtape from 1994 with some of the tunes he was playing. But that said, I did quite enjoy the crowd, the whole crowd singing Who is Alice, full volume. So there's that. But, yeah. Oh, what else? I'm just looking through my notes. Like I say, I'm just recording this immediately after the game so I can get the video out for you. I might have a more considered opinion a bit later once the Argentina-New Zealand game has been and gone. Andre Esterhuizen, really liked him. And now I've been watching him in England for the last few years whilst I've been working on the Premiership and watching him play for Harlequin. Absolutely brilliant player. And I think he showed that he is a genuine rival for Damian Diolande's jersey for South Africa. And that is what is so frightening, because let's just remind Eddie Jones of what he said before the game. Did he not say he was disappointed not to be facing a full-strength Bok team? What are you saying now, Eddie? What are you saying now, sunshine? Oh, there's Eddie. Not looking. I imagine that's the face he's pulling right now. Because that is just the frightening depth of South Africa. There are players playing on that field tonight for them who will not be in a World Cup squad. And they've just gone and battered Australia. But, as I say, Australians don't feel too downhearted, because this is early days. South Africa are an incredible rugby team. And I don't think... not many teams go to Loftus Versfeld and win, full stop. The manner of the defeat is concerning. The set piece is concerning. And the defensive naivety is concerning. But I think the biggest thing is the fact that Australia just played into South Africa's hands. Just kick them the ball. And then they returned it with interest. Naive is the word. And that says to me that you can make simple changes and make a big difference, which is exactly what Australia need to do, because for now, they're the ones that are laughing. Tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know, and I will see you for the review of Argentina and New Zealand. Rugby's back. Love it.